Hey everyone. So I have something big to talk about, and this has to do with not only just solo shuffle, but just PvP in general, like any rated PvP. So if you managed to catch my birthday stream, then you probably already know what this video is about. At first, I was pretty I don't know, like embarrassed or something to want to talk about this or to even show this, but the more I talked with like my wife and stuff about it, don't judge me. You motherfuckers are here for a reason. The more I talked to my wife about it, the more she explained to me that this would be good to show everyone because stuff like this does happen. And I did make a post about this a while ago as well, talking about this very thing because I saw it happen a lot, even though it never happened to me until now, which is just losing a bunch of rating at once, like in bulk. So you have like tons of bad games in a row, and this is very, very easy to do in solo shuffle as well because it's so easy to just spiral down. And it's also, it can be easy to go like very high up as well, especially like when you start off in the lower brackets. But there is a lot of luck involved in solo shuffle, and one thing that isn't really talked about is the amount of luck and the things that you can't control in solo shuffle. So I like to talk about how solo shuffle can be a good way to express your experience and your skill, but you have to remember that you're only 1 out of 6 people. So there are a lot of factors that you just cannot control. And you might make some mistakes, but you'll feel like those mistakes just weren't like you shouldn't have lost because of those, right? And that's what I was feeling. So like some things I was feeling was I've been learning a lot since the beginning of the season. I've been like adding in more weak auras, more add-ons. I feel like I've been getting more observant, and I've just been able to recognize things more. I've been learning more about like certain talents and abilities that I didn't know before because of all the new talent builds. But it felt like as soon as I reached what I thought was a better understanding of PvP, that's when I started to spiral down. And it kind of caught me off guard because it made me feel like I was doing something wrong because all these changes I made and all these changes just at the same time I lost all this rating made me feel like I wasn't doing something right or that I was learning wrong. But I'm here to tell you guys that this stuff does happen, and this happens to rank 1 players, this happens to AWC players. Like, people will spiral down. And I've seen this happen so many times to top-rated players, especially healers. Healers, this happens to a lot more because you have even less control over how a fight goes. Because if you have, say, like a 0-6 DPS, a DPS that wins 0 games and has 6 losses, all the DPS will have 4-2, so they'll have 4 wins, 2 losses, because they only play 2 matches with that DPS. But the healers will always go 3-3. So the DPS will always gain rating while the healers will always just stagnate or lose MMR or gain MMR depending on what their previous games were. Again, this stuff does happen, so I just want to kind of go over a few things and show you guys like how this happens. So as you can see here, my highest rating was 2649, and at the moment I'm 2122. I went all the way down to like 2k. I wasn't even duelist status anymore. That's how bad it was. I was freaking the hell out. I mean, I'm still kind of pissed. I'm still frustrated because it takes a lot of time, you know. This stuff, you sit in a queue for 40 minutes, and now I have to sit in a queue for 40 minutes just to have a chance at like getting my rating back. And now I have to do like really good consecutively in order to get all that rating back. And another thing too is, since such little changes have happened to Elemental, while other classes have been getting like almost feels like non-stop buffs, we've kind of gone down in our tier level passively. So like without any changes even happening to us, we've moved in the tier list just because of everything around us. And where I felt before like we were at like this A+ tier, maybe low S. Again, I don't really like putting Elemental as S tier because an S tier spec I feel like has no weaknesses, and Elemental definitely has weaknesses. It feels like we're either like low A tier ish. Maybe it's just because I've been getting such like big compositions of melee, like full melee lobbies, like non-stop back to back, and it's just really frustrating. And I want to show you my games too, like all the games that I had that led me up to this point. So if I go to my reflex add-on here, you can see all the games I've been playing recently. So the point to where I was highest rated, so this is where I reached my peak rating right here. It was like 2689 was my highest MMR, and I was like, well, all these other elementals are going up in their rankings, because as when you're elite, you can show that you can see your ranking on the chart. It'll tell you like your rank 69 or rank fucking 100 or something like that. And mine kept going higher and higher, which meant that other shamans were passing me. And I was like, well, I want to stay at least top 100. And so I started queuing up, and look, I went 06, I went 15. I was like, wow, I shouldn't have queued today. And then I went 4-2. I was like, well, I got a little bit back, you know, I'm not doing so bad. 1-5 again. I was like, what the fuck? And then I went 3-3, and then I went 2-4, 1-5, 2-4. It was like, holy shit, I'm just spiraling now. I went all the way from 2689 MMR to now, since you have to look at the game, the next game, because this is the MMR that you start the game with. I went all the way down to 2309 MMR. And then if we go up to there, up to that point, I had a 4-2 game, a 2-4 game, which technically those should balance out, but you could see I lost a little bit of MMR because of like the enemy team's MMR and the way that works out. But then I had like 4-2, 4-2, 4-2 back to back, but then 2-4, 2-4, 2-4. It's like, holy shit, man, I just can't catch a fucking break. But look at these comps though. I mean, I have like Feral DH, Warrior, Asa Rogue, I think it was a Feral Druid, DK, Windwalker, Hunter, which Hunters have been fucking insane lately. I don't know what the hell happened to them. It's just like every single game had so many melee. Again, like DH, Hunter, Feral, Warrior. I just couldn't catch a break. And so then I went like 3-3, 4-2, 3-3, 5-1. So I started going back up again, 3-3. And we'll go back up here. But then I had 1-5, and then 4-2, but then 2-4, 1-5, 0-6, 2-4. Ouch. Massive fucking losses in this bracket right here. But again, look what I was fighting. DH, 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 DH. It's like every single time I had a DH in the lobby, I just got fucked. And I don't know. I want to call like win trading on some of these lobbies. Maybe I'm trying to excuse it too much or something, or excuse my rating loss too much and not put enough blame on myself. But so there was like a bunch of games where this happened, where like the queue would get declined like 5 or 6 times in a row, and then I would have this happen. So like, say here's like, this is the Empyrean domain map where you got like the 4 pillars. Actually, like these 2 are smaller, but just ignore that. And there's a rep paladin in the group. The rep paladin would stay like right here, and the other 2 would be like over here, and then our team would be like over here, you know, whatever our formation was. Just we're over here somewhere. It doesn't matter what our formation looks like. But the paladin would stay here the whole game while his other 2 teammates did the work, and then he'd occasionally pop out if we got close to his pillar. And then when he was on my team, he literally just ran in the entire game, didn't press bubble, and just died. And like, that's the shit that happened to me like fucking 5 games in a row. I think it was like these fucking games where that shit happened like back to back. And I was just getting so incredibly frustrated. I was like, I'm losing all of my rating because you idiots can't press a fucking button. But then I would like join another game at the same MMR, and like people would be like insane, like playing super insane. They'd be pressing all their buttons, all their CC. And like if I got CC'd, they wouldn't break it. And if I CC'd, they would break it. And it just felt really unfair. And the point I'm trying to make here is that this stuff will happen to you at some point. If you keep playing solo shuffle, you will lose rating in a bulk. Maybe not as much as I lost in a bulk, but you will lose a lot of rating at once at some point if you keep playing. But you can rebound, because even though like I had a lot of really bad games in succession, just based off statistics alone, if you play the exact same way you were, you will eventually hit a point where you'll have a lot of really good games in a row. And I can prove that. Like up here, I had 5-1, 5-1, maybe 2-4. It was kind of bad, but then 4-2, 4-2, 1-5, 5-1. So I had a lot of really good games in here. Maybe they weren't back to back, but they were like pretty close together. Brought my rating back up a bit, but then my rating kind of went down a little bit again. So I went like 2-4, 3-3, 2-4, 3-3, 3-3, 2-4, 1-5, 1-5. So I went down even. Look, I went down to 1972 MMR. And then I had a 6-0 game where I won every single game. And it was just like so unbelievably bizarre to me because I got such low rating that I was just watching these players make so many mistakes that I could recognize. And I'm like, I felt like I didn't belong there. You know, I felt like I knew I didn't belong here. And I kept questioning, why am I here? Why am I in this lobby where I'm seeing all these mistakes people are making? I just felt like I was being punished for actually trying to learn more about the game. I was downloading more add-ons. I was making more week wars. I watched rank 1 players every single day, different classes, to try to learn different abilities, different ways to counter them, what they do for their damage rotations. And I make tons of PvP videos. I do a lot of research. I check up abilities on Wowhead to see their interactions or their modifiers. And I've been doing that the whole season. And then, like, I just lose all of my rating at the point to where I felt like I was finally gaining enough awareness to hit, like, maybe top 50 or something. And it just felt so unfair. It really, like, destroyed my self-confidence in solo shuffle, but I had a lot of reassurance. This will happen to you guys. I'm going to be getting my rating back, but I think I'm not going to be pushing solo shuffle as much as I wanted to, just because of how this made me feel. So what I'm going to probably do is try to get back to about the same spot that I was. And then once I get there, I want to maybe try other classes. And so I told you guys in a poll on my YouTube channel that I was thinking about doing a limited series about trying to get elite status on every single class, and a lot of you guys actually really wanted to see that, so I'm kind of excited about that. It'll get me to learn more about the different classes, and so not only will I be learning a lot more about the different classes, but I'll be getting better not only on those classes also, but also on my Shaman, because then I'll know how to counter those classes as well. So I'm thinking about playing the specs that I normally don't play enough. I don't want to just play like the specs that I've already kind of grown and known to play. I want to play a spec that I haven't really played yet, so I can learn more about it. So I'm also going to be doing a VOD review of a lot of the games that I did on my birthday stream, to where it caused me to lose a lot of this rating. So that way you guys can see my point of view and like where I'm pointing out mistakes that were being made and stuff, and what exactly I was doing. So make sure you definitely check out this series as well. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Now, just a little bit of a disclaimer for this series that I'm going to be doing. I might be calling out shit that isn't really their fault, or that they couldn't really do anything about. But that's because I was like, I reviewed these videos directly after doing these games, and so a lot of them I was definitely heated on. I don't regret any of it because a lot of these mistakes that I point out are accurate, and I point out my own mistakes as well. Maybe I don't point out all of the mistakes I make, or maybe there's some things I did make a mistake on that I didn't catch, which maybe you guys can point out. But I really wanted to try to do a fair review on these games, to at least give my perspective and showcase why I feel like I got robbed on a lot of this stuff. But again, just to summarize the video, don't let huge loss in rating discredit you guys, because again, this will happen. Just based off statistics alone, this will happen to you, and the reverse will happen to you. Just keep grinding, keep playing, keep learning, and I promise you, you'll go up higher. I've already gone up a little bit. Remember, I was like 19 something MMR. I'm already up another 200. We're just gonna keep fucking playing. We're gonna get our rating back. Hopefully get top 50 maybe, and then swap over, maybe try some other classes and start learning them. If you guys like the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/metallurgy, where you can actually watch me do this stuff live. So we usually stream on Saturdays around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, let me know what you guys think about the video and what you think about the series coming up, or even the future series I have planned for next season, which is the class, every class to elite series. And so the series I'm going to be doing next is called My Descent into Insanity. Fitting name. So let me know what you guys think about that, and I'll see you guys in that series.